This is Russ. Yeah, I'm sitting in the car. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys something. Several people have said to me in the last, I would say within the last 6 months, okay? They said that they felt that the reason I'm able to do these YouTube videos is because I have a voice for it. Really? Do I have a voice for it? I don't know. What kind of voice do you need? Several of them have said you have a radio type voice or a television news anchor type voice. I don't think so. Do you think so? I have no idea. What is the voice that you need to be on YouTube? No, several people have said that to me. I'm thinking, I don't think so. I have kind of a squeaky voice sometimes. Okay, sometimes not. But I don't enunciate as well as some people do. I say a lot of ums. I don't think so. But I think they're not really talking about those mistakes that you do. I think they're talking about the tone. Do I have a radio announcer's tone? I don't know. I have a couple friends who work in radio that I met, I don't know, 10 plus years ago. Yeah, they work for, or they had worked for WGN Radio here in the Chicago area. Actually, one of them, I'll leave their names off of it. I won't mention who they are, but one of them was a radio DJ while I was growing up. Yeah, he was a radio DJ for WLS, and I don't know if he was with WCFL, but back in the day when I was growing up, there was 2 major radio stations, and these are AM radio stations. Okay, back in those days, before FM became more popular. He was a DJ for these radio station, and his wife, now that I mentioned that, you might be able to figure out who it is. If you know who I'm talking about, put a comment, all right? His wife that he met later on in life was also a radio DJ, and the two of them together did a talk show on WGN radio for many, many years. They did late night radio. Okay, so now I'm giving you all these hints, okay? Tell me who you think I'm talking about, okay? So anyway, I went to a concert for a friend of mine who became a friend of mine, okay? But he's a very well-known acoustic guitar player and electric guitar player, but basically acoustic guitar player. And yeah, I won't tell you his name either. Some of you might know because I've mentioned him before on the Russ is Right channel. Yeah, he was sponsored by quite a few number of guitar companies too. Yeah, he had his own signature series Taylor guitar, if you know about Taylor. And anyways, a friend of mine had asked me, he says, "You want to go see this guy in concert?" And I says, "Oh, I just happened to pick up a CD of his." "Yeah, okay, I'd like to go." So I went, and I says, "Wow, he's a really great guitar player." And then we met him after the show. Okay, my friend Jerry had actually met him before. He's gone to many of his concerts before, so he knew who he was because he always go up and say hello to him afterwards, right? So I met him, and then I asked. I started watching more about him, and he came to a couple other concerts as well that he played. So on his website was his daughter who puts the website together. So I sent her a text message. I said, "Do you think he would mind if?" Because I was a professional photographer, right? "Do you think he would mind if I spent a day with him as he came to town and did a day in the life in photos of him?" So she says, "Well, let me ask him." And he says, "Yeah, that'd be fine." So he kind of remembered who I was. And so I did this video for him, basically a little quick 5-minute video. I put it together to his music, and shot what his typical day was from when he got to the venue to play and until he packed up and got ready to leave. Okay. So he was so impressed with it that he hired me for his daughter's wedding, to be the wedding photographer for his daughter. And it was actually the smallest wedding I've ever been to. He flew me out to Tennessee. Let me check real quick. Let's make sure this isn't anything that's important here. He flew me out to Tennessee to shoot his daughter's wedding, but he said it's going to be a very small wedding because that's what his daughter wanted. It's only family. Yeah, it's only family. So I think we had like 18 people there, including me. It was the smallest wedding I've ever that I ever shot, and he paid for my hotel and everything. He paid for my airfare, paid for my fees to do the wedding and everything. So anyway, we became friends, of course. And every time he came back to the Chicago area to play a concert, we would go and see him. And then the two radio personalities knew him too, because he's been on their radio show many times. And so that's how I got to know them. And then later on, I found out that the person who did WGN radio was one of the guys that I used to listen to when I was a kid growing up. They're both since retired, but they do come back every now and then, and they do their radio show on WGN radio. So, but it's not their, everyday thing anymore, because, they're getting up in age, so they just come back as guest DJs every now and then. But they have a very popular radio talk show thing during the evening hours. Yeah, I'm talking about late night evening hours. A couple of times, too, I called up into the show when my friend, the guitar player, was on the show late at night. And I'd call up and I'd say, hey, what's going on? And they all know me. The two hosts know me, and then the guitar player, of course, knows me, too. It's kind of interesting to call in, and we all kind of know each other, so. And we've had dinner and stuff like that together, too. What is going on with this thing? Constantly being dinged. Yeah, we've gone out many times after the concerts for him, and then we've all had dinner and things like that together. So, anyways, when I listen to them, they have radio voices, right? I mean, they do. Both of them do. I don't think I do, but many people say you do. I go, I don't think so. I mean, these guys enunciate perfectly. They talk perfectly. They don't say everything that comes out of their mouth is perfect. Okay, I mean, that's why they're on radio. Maybe I have a face for radio. People have said that's a good insult for you, right? You have the face for radio. Yeah. Anyway, I was just thinking about that because recently somebody said that again to me. He says, so do you have a voice for it? I go, I have a voice for it? How do I have a voice for it? I don't even know what that would sound like, But hey, let me know if you think I have a voice for doing this type of work. I mean, what type of voice do you need? I would tend to think if you're on YouTube, you'd have to have a face for it. More so than a voice for it. But people have also said if the audio is bad, they can't watch the video. I think that would be true. Yeah, I mean, no matter how good the videos look, if the audio sounds bad or if the guy is just boring to listen to, it's kind of hard to stay with it. That's what I'm saying. But they're not talking about that. They're just saying the tone and your delivery sounds like radio voice. I go, I don't think so. Maybe there's things that you don't recognize of yourself other people recognize. I have no idea. It's almost like when my friend who told me, he says, Russ, you need to be in front of the camera, not behind the camera. I kept saying to him, I says, I don't see why I should be in front of the camera. He says, oh, you should be in front of the camera, not behind it. I mean, you would make a good host or some type of thing on a video. I says, I don't see it. People are always telling me I could do certain things and I can't see it, Maybe we don't see things that other people can see in us. I don't know. sometimes it takes a little bit of pushing to push somebody to do something. I mean, I think I'm that kind of personality. I won't do it unless somebody says, hey, have you considered doing this? And I'm going, really? Why? Why do you think I can do that? I think that's how a lot of things get started for me, is when other people push me into it and they say, try that. It might be better for you. I go, oh, yeah, really? Oh, okay. Let me know in the comments below. Have people tried to push you into something and then you tried it and then they were right? Yeah, you never know. Those people are right too. Yeah, Russ is always right. Told you guys that. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys for today. It's just something that somebody brought up recently, and I just said, okay, really? Well, there's another person that said that. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I have a voice for doing this type of work. Oh, okay. I'll leave you one more thing. One of the guitar players at our church, he says, he had watched one of the More from Russ shows, right? And he goes, yeah, you do pretty good, it's like a podcast. I go, yeah, it's kind of like a podcast. Because I said, there's people who actually don't watch the videos, but they tell me that they listen to me. He goes, yeah, you have a voice for it. And then he says, are you going to ride your bike? I go, yeah, I ride my bike. He says, do you do your podcast on the bike too? I go, yeah. I just ride and talk. He goes, wow, that's amazing. And I kept thinking about that, and I says, why is that amazing? He just thought it was amazing that you're able to just talk about anything while riding your bike. I go, you got to talk about something. Yeah, just talk about whatever is on my mind when I ride my bike, and people watch that and they listen to that and whatever. Some of you guys actually said that you listen to me while you're riding your bike. I don't know if that's kind of dangerous. I guess if they're only listening to you, but if they're not actually technically watching your video while they're riding, then I'm just keeping them company, just like they keep me company to give me the ability to talk. Of course, in my case, it looks like I'm talking to nobody, but eventually I know somebody's going to listen to it. So I just kind of talk like if you were next to me. And a lot of people have said that too. So it's just like listening to a buddy talk. I go, yeah, well, you guys keep me company. That's how I do it. If I didn't do it that way, I don't think I'd be able to do it. I mean, how could you keep coming up with things to talk about if you don't see it that way, if you don't view it that way, right? So that's how I do it. So anyways, let me know if you think I have the voice for radio. You have a face for radio. And maybe I have a face for radio too. And what do you think about all that? All right. Anyways, hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Talk to you guys next time.